Hello, and welcome to Just the Facts, where we ask Toby to answer a frequently asked question. Today's question for Toby is this: what do you tell searchers who want to establish a partnership to recover the treasure?
So we get 3 to 5 messages a week from individuals from the United States, Canada, the UK, literally all around the globe. And in various ways, what they suggest is the idea that A, they have completed the solution to finding the treasure. They know exactly where to find the treasure. And B, they're looking for a partner with whom to share the treasure if only the partner would go to retrieve it on their behalf. So we've developed a series of responses that work for us. And I'm not suggesting that they work for everybody, but Shelley and I have been working together for almost 6 years now. We worked together first as in an employer-employee relationship. Then she became my business partner, and then she became the partner that I'm searching for Forrest Fenn's treasure with. Over that period of time, we've learned and become accustomed to the idea that we trust each other. She trusts me for what I know and for what I want to accomplish, and I trust her for what she knows and what she wants to accomplish. But it took 6 years of working at it and compromising and understanding the other person before we could get together on the idea that we were going to establish a partnership that was going to look for a multi-million-dollar treasure. So you have to understand that when somebody writes us and says, I'd like to establish a partnership with you, we don't know any more about you than you do about us. Yes, we have a channel on YouTube and we make ourselves pretty visible and transparent on that, but still, you don't know us. And so my first reaction to someone who asks for a partnership is to say, we just don't do partnerships. And in addition, we don't want you to share your solution with us because we think that compromises our solution as well as yours. On the other hand, we know that there's some people who simply have no other way than to recover the treasure. So what we say to them is we have a written contract, a contract that was written by an attorney that effectively turns us into professional treasure hunters. And we charge a fee for that. So if you want us to go look for your treasure, we'll have you sign the agreement that basically says you're making us we're entering into a contract, not a partnership, for us to go find your treasure, and we're going to charge you $1,000 a day for the effort plus expenses. And that's the only legal way we know to do that. Now, so far, no one has taken us up on the offer, which actually doesn't surprise me. But if you're someone who is someplace else other than in a location near the treasure that prevents you from searching for the treasure, then what I'm going to suggest is rather than investing your money in a professional treasure hunter, go to an attorney and have an attorney create an agreement for you between you and someone who is a professional treasure hunter. And then contact a professional treasure hunter, ask them if they sign the agreement and pay them for their services, and let them go look for you. Give them your solution, let them go look for you. Now, we think that's a fair way to do it, and it's likely the only way that anyone who doesn't live in the search area is going to be able to invoke, if you will, their solution. Otherwise, there's no way that either party can build up enough trust in the other party for this to take place. The last thing is that, like I said, we get 3 to 5 emails a week with people who claim they know exactly where the treasure is. They know where warm waters halt. They know the home of Brown all the way down to the Blaze and exactly where the treasure is. There have been no two solutions that they've shared with us, although we asked them not to share it. There have been no two solutions that are precisely the same. So you can understand our skepticism when we get those kinds of solutions where people say, I know where the treasure is, when almost 3 to 5 times a week we hear other people say, I know where the treasure is, and it's not in the location of the last email that we got. So I wish I had something more positive to tell you about this. And that's why I recommend pretty much that you look at it from a investment perspective and a contractual perspective and find someone to help you in that way.
So have you heard of anybody doing this partnership successfully in the past?
I haven't heard. So I've heard about searchers who have established partnerships. You know, there's a couple that search with their family members, for example, and it's an informal partnership. I don't know necessarily that they have a contract or some sort of agreement that protects each of the partners, but they search with their families. I know of others who have established agreements with people local to them, you know, friends and associates. The only partnerships, well, I don't know that I've heard of a partnership, long distance is what I'll refer to it as, that has been successful. I have heard of more, with some of our friends in the community, I have heard of situations where they established what they thought were solid long distance partnerships, and then they were burned by it. Now, thankfully, they didn't involve money, but that leaves you, you know, every time that happens, you have a little less belief in mankind, if you will. No, I haven't heard of a successful long-distance partnership. The partnerships that I've heard of that have been successful have been between people who have face-to-face contact, like us.
And I would have to wonder that if you didn't know the person that well, and even if they did go out to the spot you suggested and looked around, would you believe them? Would you know, if they said, I looked everywhere and it wasn't there, would you, if you didn't go yourself, would you actually believe somebody else that you didn't really know, that they had looked as well as you would have looked?
In the spot, if you're that certain. And I think that's another thing about being on the receiving end of one of these offers for a partnership. You know, Fenn has often said when people say, is this some kind of hoax? Fenn says, what could I say to you that would convince you otherwise, short of taking you there? And so I think you're stuck with the same problem here. What could they say to you after having searched the spot that to which you told them to go? What could they say to you that would convince you that they didn't find anything?
And because that they looked really hard,
right.
You know? You could say, oh, well, you must have missed it. I'm sure it's there.
Yeah.
You don't know because you weren't there. You didn't see it for yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So it's not a good place. I wish, like I said, I could come up with a better answer for you, but we haven't found one yet, so we just avoid the situation.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching today, and I hope that this answer was helpful to you. Please remember to give us a thumbs up, to like this video, share it with your social media and your friends, and subscribe and click on the bell to receive notifications on future videos.